What's going on, everyone? Hope you're all having a good Sunday. It's draft week, so time to do our best Sonny Weaver Jr. impressions and get ready for the NFL draft. But we've got the latest news and rumors surrounding our Brownies on today's show. A lot to hit on, so be sure to stick with me as we've got a ton of ground to cover. Starting things off with, should the Browns trade for Kadarius Toney? A report came out that the Giants are looking to trade their first-round pick last year. We'll talk about that. Then we'll segue into, should Cleveland look to sign DeSean Jackson? Longtime veteran wide receiver, had a handful of teams on a list of places he would go and play for. Guess who was on it? Make sure you guys are subscribed, by the way, because we'll be having another live show. We'll tell you more details about that later on, but stay tuned for that and hit that big red button. We'll get the latest Clowney news and rumors. Myles, Garrett doing everything he can to bring 90 back to the land. And finally, make sure you follow me on Twitter. It's going to be a very busy week with the NFL draft. So if you're looking for a spot to get kind of condensed breakdown of the latest news and rumors surrounding your Browns, follow me at MatthewPD. The link's right there at the bottom. It's also in the comments and the description. So follow me, and if you follow me, I'll follow you back and give you a shout out on a future Browns show. Speaking of the NFL draft, though, before we get into the big meat and potatoes, like the video if you have faith in Andrew Berry's drafting. Even without a first-round pick this year, can the Browns find a way? Because let's face it, Cleveland's had some great day 2 picks lately. I mean, look at last year, JOK right in the middle of the second round. So, love to see the Browns find a way to make some more draft magic happen. Speaking of drafting, it's draft week. It's draft day, Sonny Weaver Jr. First up, though, Kadarius Toney. There's a report out there that the Giants are looking to trade Kadarius Toney. He was their first-round pick in 2021. Now, it's not good when you're a second-year wide receiver who will show you the stats, did not have a great first season, and you get a new head coach, a new GM, which in our lingo, in everyday life, that is a new boss, and you skip voluntary minicamp. You don't want to come. You don't want to show your new employer what you can do. That concerns me. That's not something you want to see, especially coming from a guy who didn't score a touchdown last year and 420 yards to go along with it. If I'm the Browns, is this someone you really want to trade for? Right? Is this someone that you think could actually make a immediate impact for your team? Here's a trade idea I've seen tossed around a little bit. The Browns get Kadarius Toney, and the Giants get the Browns' third-round pick, number 99 overall. So, before I give you my answer on this, I want yours. Would you do this trade for Kadarius Toney? Y for yes or N for no? Let me know if this is a trade you would pull the trigger on, giving up a third-round pick for a former first-round pick in Kadarius Toney. For me, when it comes to Kadarius Toney trade rumors, absolutely not. I don't want any part of him. I don't want him coming to Cleveland. This is a player that from the start, there's been red flags around Kadarius Toney. When the Giants drafted him in the first round last season, some saw that was a bit of a reach. And just because he's a first-round pick doesn't mean you have to give up a ton for a guy that didn't have a great rookie season. 0 touchdowns. Like we said, 420 yards. There's just too many red flags for me to want to go get Kadarius Toney. I'm passing on it. I have no interest in going to get a player who skipped minicamp when you have a new boss, a new GM, a new head coach. They are installing a new offense. You didn't have a great rookie year, Kadarius. Don't you think you should show up to this? Don't you think you should try to get your second season off to a better start than your rookie year? Why would you not show up? You're not a 10-year vet who can take these kind of things off. You should be there working. I'm passing on trading for Kadarius Toney. Next up, should the Browns be looking to sign DeSean Jackson? It's an interesting rumor. I saw it on Twitter over the weekend. We're going to break that down and more in just a second, so make sure you stay tuned. But first, join our live show Monday. We're going to be going live here on the channel April 25th at 5 Eastern, same time, different day. Shout out to everyone who tuned in to our first live show last week. Really appreciate that. Phenomenal attendance. So good that I was able to go back, meet with my bosses, and say, listen, the numbers speak for themselves. Let's get more live Browns reports going. So if you want to be a part of a future live show, super simple. All you got to do is subscribe. That way, you got your notifications on. You're like, oh, we're going live. We're going to have a nice live fun time here. Live Q&A. We'll break down the latest news and rumors. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you're tuning in Monday. That's tomorrow or today, depending on when you're watching this, or yesterday if you're really behind. 4:25, 5 Eastern. DeSean Jackson time, though. There's a report out there that Jackson is only interested in signing with 4 teams. The Cleveland Browns, the Denver Broncos, the Green Bay Packers, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Deshaun Watson, on the other hand, well, he may be interested in trying to bring DeSean Jackson to Cleveland. We'll show you why in just a second. But DeSean Jackson, let's just kind of remind ourselves. This is a 2008 draft pick that's been around for a long time. And I don't know how much he has left in the tank entering year 15. But Deshaun Watson, hey, if he wants to get someone, I'm not going to say I know your weapons better than you do. Because here was an interesting tweet. An Instagram post. That's the where I was looking for. Where Deshaun Jackson's like, got himself in a Browns jersey. So they did a jersey swap for him. And he's like, let's go play with the Browns. And then guess who shares that Instagram post? Deshaun Watson. I don't know. Players in social media, you can't, I think we've actually crossed the point of it. Used to be don't read into social media. Now it's a little bit of like, that's just the way the world works these days. You got to look at it a little bit. So, do you want the Browns to sign Deshaun Jackson? S for sign or P for pass? Personally, I'm not that interested in a player last season who, by the way, this is the saddest thing I think, left a future Super Bowl winning team in the Rams because he wasn't getting enough targets. Dude, you're a 14 vet. 14-year, like, what are you expecting at this point? I think he's a little egocentrical, and if that's even a word, and goes to the Raiders who don't win the Super Bowl. You look at his last couple seasons, you combine his touchdowns, 5 touchdowns in 3 years, just not interested. I'm not interested, especially because he doesn't seem like a veteran who's willing to sit behind. Like, he left the Rams, who was a very good team at the time. Remember, this was the Rams' first half of the season before they had their little, loss to the Titans at home, got their asses kicked against the Packers. Like, I'm just not interested in giving up a roster spot for a player like DeSean Jackson, who most recently is kind of signaling, hey, I don't want to be wide receiver 4 or 5. I want wide receiver 1 targets or wide receiver 2 or 3. Like, if he was fine with being a veteran backup to help mentor young players, I'm guessing he would have stayed with the Rams, right? Maybe there was something else that happened in LA that I don't know about, but I'm not interested in giving up a roster spot for DeSean Jackson. What I am interested in is having you guys follow us over at Rumble. It's one of the fastest growing video platform services out there. So follow us at rumble.com/Browns Report. We are 3rd in line at Chat Sports among all NFL channels we have. I'm trying to pass the Raiders and the Chiefs. We got the Giants on our tail. Producer Marshall is a Giants host here. He's always talking big game about Rumble. So shout out to everyone that has already followed us. But if you haven't already, the link's in the comments. It's also part of the pinned comment here in the description. Rumble.com/Browns Report. Give us a follow right there. Final segment of today's show is Myles Garrett recruiting Jadeveon Clowney. Not too surprising. Why wouldn't he after the phenomenal season both players had last year? But we're talking more Instagram here because Myles Garrett posting on his Instagram a picture of him and Jadeveon Clowney saying, job not finished. Okay, yeah, that's a cool post. Players do this all the time. But then we get another post. And he's saying only 2 players have been drafted first overall from the defensive side in the last 15 years. Good trivia, Clowney and Garrett. So it looks to me like Myles Garrett is doing everything he can, at least from the Instagram side of things, to try and bring 90 back to the land. Speaking of 90, I always love when I put a call out to spam a jersey number down below because I really do believe that this eventually does get back to players because they feel the love. They see, if you don't think players are name searching all the time, we've heard a lot of players say, believe it or not, at halftime, after the game, I'm going on Twitter, I'm going on YouTube, I'm going on whatever, and I'm typing my name in. So let's spam 90 times. It's a tall order. If you don't get to 90, that's all right. I'm not going to be counting. But let's at least get 9 times, all right? So let's show some love to Clowney. Spam his jersey number down below. I don't know why Clowney wouldn't come back. The guy, I think, and I've said this before on the show, has saved his career by signing with the Browns last offseason. Just compare what he did last year compared to the prior 2 seasons combined. In 7 fewer games, Clowney tripled his sack count. Same amount of tackles for loss. Same amount of QB hits in 7 fewer games. Guys, if Clowney has a 1.5 sack performance last season for a random team like the Jets, he's still on the market right now. And I mean, he's still on the market being no one's even calling. Clowney's got interest. Why? Because he lined up opposite of Myles Garrett last year and flourished under that. So, Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, let's run it back. Let's make sure we bring that 1-2 punch into 2022. And make sure you are following me on Twitter at Matthew Petey, because I'll be breaking down the latest Browns news and rumors going into the NFL draft and for the rest of the offseason into the 2022 season. So make sure you follow me. The link's in the comments and the description. Follow me, I'll follow you back, and we'll be giving some shout-outs here on the show.